Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Happy June. I hope that you all have a beautiful, beautiful month. And I'm going to be going over the transits happening for each rising and moon sign for the month of June. I apologize ahead of time if I sound sick. It's because I am. Um, yeah, let's just get that out of the way for now. And now I'm going to get into your transits. All right, so as you can see here, we've got a lot of transits happening in the month of June. Mars enters Aries already June 1st. Uranus also entered Taurus with conjunct Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and Sun happening June 1st. And then we have a new moon on June 5th and 6th in Taurus, which is going to be with Jupiter, Uranus, Mercury, Venus, and Sun. So it's going to be a very, very powerful new moon. I'm really excited for that one. Um, I will be coming out with a separate video going over the new and full moons. We have the new moon here in Taurus, and then we have the full moon in Sagittarius. So just stay tuned for that, where I'll touch on it more. But then we have Venus entering Gemini on June 12th, Mercury entering Gemini on June 14th, and then Sun enters Gemini on June 15th. And then we'll have the full moon opposite all of that in Gemini. And then June 29th, Mercury will move into Cancer, and then now the one everybody's going to be waiting for. Saturn is going to turn retrograde at the end of this month in Aquarius. This will be the last time Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius until it moves out of Aquarius next year, in 2025. So, really, really powerful time for that last transit of Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. And let's get into what this is going to mean for all of June. All right. For the Aries risings and moons, this month is going to be really, really strong for you, mostly because the ruler of your first house is going to be back in your first house. Now, generally, I don't advise people to do anything different to their appearance when Mars is transiting their their first house, unless you are specifically an Aries or Scorpio rising or moon and the ruler of your chart is back in your first house. That can actually be a really beneficial time for you to change something about your appearance, your physical looks, or get the confidence and energy to take action towards a physical change that you want to make in your body, where it's like going to the gym or changing something about your body that just gives you more confidence and more strength, because this is the ruler of your chart. So it's very, very supported in your mindset and the way you take action towards things to make a goal, make a decision, Mars, right? And then change something about it. This is also a really good month just overall for you and having like stronger energy. You could be feeling more confident, ready to take on the world, just stronger in all your decisions. There could also be opportunities for you to receive um, larger income this month, or just for the next 2 months, I would say specifically, because the ruler of your first house is back in your first house, and it's about receiving, about gaining resources, right, through your own effort and willpower. But then also, you guys have a lot going on in your second house. Taurus with Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, and Venus there up until mid-month. You guys are going to have a very, very good money month. It can happen very fast, maybe something unexpectedly also that you have to spend on in order to receive more income or more benefits. But it's very, very supportive of you to like have a stronger financial stability in this next month. And then once Venus goes into your third house near the second half of the month, and then a lot of other planets then move there as well, this is going to strongly support your willpower as well. The Mars, which is your willpower and action, desire to create, make things happen physically, you'll have the strength and power to. And then that's what the third house is as well. It's your willpower, your confidence, your strength, and skills that you learn. I would suggest truly like focusing on the first half of the month around understanding your finances, worth, and self value, cultivating what you can income, what you need to spend on in order to see something else produce well from it. It might be like an investment at first, and then it comes back to you, because by the second half of the month, it's going to be strongly focused on the little things you're doing each day, skills that you have produced that bring you more income, that showcase your knowledge as well. It'll be a very like skill testing month for you, and it could be very busy. There's also an opportunity that you might be doing some short traveling trips because of how business has been developing over the next month. But it's a very, very supportive month for you guys financially, and emotionally. It also looks like love relationships. There could be something that manifests with the new moon, which I'll touch on the new moon video. That happens kind of suddenly as well. But it's pretty romantic, I would say, just because of that strength of Venus currently, and then it'll move into the third house. Could look like traveling with partner, short little trips, and then the full moon happening opposite it, which I will get into in the full moon video as well. It'll be in your ninth house, so this does look like a pretty decent month for you guys traveling, um, or just traveling even with your mind, because you're going to be learning so much too in the second half of the month. There could be a skill that you want to start practicing, or something that you want to invest in knowledge wise that broadens the horizon of your mind and then makes you feel like you've traveled, even if you haven't physically. But either way, it's supportive of you doing some traveling in the next month. Then we have Mercury entering Cancer at the end of the month, which will be in your fourth house. Um, this energy is going to play out more so in July, because that's going to be like right at the very end of June. But that's where your focus is going to shift towards an internal rebuilding of your emotional security and foundation. Could be also changing something about your home to bring you more happiness. And then the Saturn retrograde that will happen will be in your 11th house. That's again at the very end of June, so you'll feel this more strongly in July, but right at the end of June it starts. This is going to be giving us this opportunity to reassess things. For you guys specifically, reassess the way you guys have been building a strong environment between the communities you're involved in, the networking circles you're connected to, even your friendships, because Saturn in Aquarius has kind of been reconstructing the foundation that you guys have there. And so it going retrograde, it's going to give you an opportunity to reassess it. Now, if you have retrograde in your personal chart, this will be a really good time for you, where Saturn is kind of giving you the rewards of the hard work you've been putting out. If you don't have Saturn retrograde, it's okay. It's not something you really should worry about. It's just retrograde periods are like a window of opportunity for us to reassess everything we have been constructing. So it can look like old friends coming back around, trying to redo it, old opportunities for career investments, career advancements coming back in, again, giving you the opportunity to redo it, reassess it, re-navigate it. Just think redo something, okay? All right. For the Taurus risings and moons, you have Mars in your 12th house, which can indicate a time of you maybe spending more, investing in something that brings more rewards over time, or a little bit of an energy of wanting to escape. Um, I do advise try not to get involved in like anything that tests the bounds of reality too much, drugs, alcohol, things like that in this month, because Mars being in your 12th house, and your 12th house is ruled by Mars, you might have had these experiences before, and this transit can be bringing back memories of that, or bringing back a desire for that. It also could just be a very sensual time for you guys secretly, wanting to experience a pleasure of sorts that kind of takes your mind off of things because of the 12th house energy. This could also be a really good time for you to tap into your subconscious. The 12th house is your nervous system, your regulation, and how you regulate your nervous system. So you could be taking to action towards wanting to regulate your nervous system in a very strong way this month, and it will produce a lot of strength on your end because Mars is the support there for your 12th house. So it's a very good time that empowers you. Then you have a lot of planets in your first house as well. New moon happening there in your first house, a beginning a new chapter set around the way you look, the way your life trajectory plays out, the way you embody your own energy. So with everything being in your first house for the first half of the month and Uranus there, it can be something like you want to change something about your appearance just very suddenly, very fastly. You're like, actually, I want to embody this persona. And Jupiter is just going to expand it. Now, some people get scared of the Jupiter in the first house transit, that it makes you gain weight or something like that. I am not saying that at all. I'm saying that it's going to expand like your presence entirely. Wherever you're going, people are going to look to you for advice, for support, as a guru, as a teacher, as a mentor, because that is what Jupiter is. And with Venus, Sun, and Mercury there, it's really emphasizing and highlighting everything that you have learned and built up to this point. Um, I will say then when it moves into your second house in the second half of the month, this is going to be highlighting, you know, material things, things that you value. Your family dynamic could be shifting in this next month. There could be more harmony in your family because Venus moving into your second house as a Venus ruled person, you'll be feeling more love with the people you're connected with. There could also be a nature of wanting to do a little bit of traveling with people or with family, or just intellectually stimulating each other and conversating a lot with people that you love, and focus on your material goods, your possessions, buying jewelry, buying things like that. And also just understanding your self-worth and value as a Taurus person truly. With Venus moving into your second house, that's going to be the highlight of the month. Then the full moon happens in your eighth house, opposite that, a closure around investments you've made, the way you've transformed your life, the ruler of it, Jupiter, it will still be in your first house. So it's going to be very enlightening time, highlighting everything you have gone through over the last 6 months specifically, and what it has taught you, Jupiter, the enlightenment, right? Now, near the end of the month, you'll be feeling this next part a little bit differently, more so in July, but Mercury will enter Cancer in your third house, and then in June in your, Saturn in your Saturn in your 10th house is going retrograde there, is going to be placing an emphasis on the ways you've built your career and your public image and your status over the last 2 years with Saturn there. Now, remember, this is the last transit of Saturn in Aquarius until many, many years from now. It transits every, what is it, 28 years? So this is our last opportunity to really, really pay attention to all that the retrograde is bringing back up for us until 28 years from now. With it being, this will be the last retrograde transit, right? And then it goes direct before it switches to Pisces next year in March of 2025. So over your 10th house, there can be something around your career that you're needing to reassess, your public image, the way you're supporting yourself in your career and other people in your career, because it's about community. That's what the 10th house is about, your career, but then Aquarius is about the community, the legacy you're building, and the support that you're providing for yourself and others right there with retrograde Saturn. This can also look like a time if you have been manifesting love or relationships. The 10th house does represent our status, either in career, just in social class, in a relationship. This could be a time where retrograde brings an opportunity or like a window for you to change your status. So during this period, keep an eye out for that. It'll feel very strongly if you have Saturn retrograde in your chart for sure. Status change in some way, relationship or career-wise, is coming. All right, for the Gemini risings and moons. Okay, so you have Mars currently in your 11th house. So Mars is giving you this really strong ability to take action towards friendship, networks, community, circles that you're involved with, social media, career advancement. It's giving you the support and the strength and the willpower to take that on. It could feel like something you're constantly trying to work at, right? Because Mars, especially in Aries, it's symbolized as like the beginning one. It is strong, but it's something you have to continue working at. So maybe like it could be a focus of you connecting with people, of you taking action towards your long-term career success and goals. It will pay off with good results, but it's going to feel like something you really have to take action to and have the confidence and strength to continue on with it. Not in a bad way, but it's going to require you to exert your energy. Okay. Then everything happening in your 12th house is why you're going to be feeling like it's taking you so much of your energy as well. Because 12th house, man, that's like your subconscious, your dreams, your limiting beliefs that you're having to confront. It's also your creativity and your spirituality. It can be a very otherworldly time for you. You could be doing some traveling in the very beginning of the month, I would say, because yeah, it'll happen pretty suddenly with Uranus there. There could be high expenses because of it, but it will always be supported by Jupiter. You'll be protected, so it's not something really to stress about, but it's going to be bringing you a lot of spiritual enlightenment too. So whether you're physically traveling or mentally traveling, I would highly suggest taking time to naturally just isolate a little bit more in the beginning half of the month to understand and regulate your nervous system so that you can be a good support for others, because it's going to be asking you to. With Mars in your 11th house, friendship, network circles, your community, they're going to be asking a lot of you too, and you're going to want to provide it. So just make sure you're taking care of your mental health in the beginning half of this month. Then in the second half of the month, Venus will enter your first house. So this is a beautiful transit. You're going to be feeling more beautiful, more loved, and just really strong, like smart. You know, that Gemini nature, those qualities. You're going to be feeling like you embody them fully, and you're getting the recognition for it too. And people are also going to be very receptive to you because Venus is that receptive energy. So just making sure that you're providing for others and also providing for yourself, because there has to be that balance with Venus, okay? Um, this is going to also be a good time if you want to change something about your appearance or the way you look. You can do that now with Venus in your first house. It's a good time for that. And then Mercury, the ruler of your chart, moves there June 14th. So another good time with Venus and Mercury there in your first house. You're gonna be like very smart. You always are very smart, but you're just gonna be feeling it strongly, really like you have the confidence to talk. And with everything happening in your 12th house and then to your first, it's like everything that you do to uncover and rewire your mental foundation and stability, it's going to be paying off. Because when it hits your first house, it's gonna, you know, like those transitions where someone goes from sleeping to finally awake and like, I can smell the roses now. That's what it's gonna feel like. Then we have that full moon in your 7th house, which I will talk about in the full moon video, but closing a chapter around relationships for you, partnerships, the way you process and navigate relationships like that. And Mercury in Cancer entering your 2nd house. This is going to be a very focused, again, this is near the end of the month, so you'll be feeling this more strongly in July, but this is going to be really good for business for y'all. Remember, you're ruled by Mercury, so you want to strongly pay attention to the transit of Mercury as it influences a lot of your life. And then into your 2nd house, it's going to be good for income, financial stability, but making sure you're doing it in a Cancer way where you're smart about it. um, I don't want to say like protective or hoarding, but Cancer really likes to make sure it's very nurturing and providing for themselves, for others. So Mercury there, it's going to give you that business deal opportunity to make the connections with people that provide those resources and opportunities to bring up your income. Now, Saturn, this will again, you'll feel more heavily in July. And same for this, Saturn stationing retrograde near the end of June, symbolizing for you your 9th house. Going retrograde, like things that you have been focusing on for school, higher education, your higher philosophy. Saturn retrograding there, it's gonna really bring up how you navigate those things, giving you an opportunity to redo it. If there are any Gemini risings thinking about going back into school, now when Saturn goes retrograde is when you're going to be thinking very strongly about that, and possibly enrolling again or finalizing the details around your higher education or how you want to navigate it or what you're doing after, making plans, especially if you have Saturn retrograde in your chart. It's very supportive for you to also be doing some traveling, because 9th house does symbolize, you know, higher thought, higher thinking, things that broaden your horizons, either mentally or physically through travel or just study. So it's a good time to plan for that and prepare for it as well. All right. Cancer risings and moons, you have Mars entering your 10th house. Now, you are naturally ruled, well, your 10th house, your house of career, is naturally ruled by Mars. So, Mars coming back into its own position in your 10th house of career and status, it's really supportive for you. I do see a lot of Cancer risings at some point ending up taking on a more entrepreneurial approach to their career and their life path, especially because your 10th house, the legacy you leave, is ruled by that Aries nature of individuality. So as a Cancer rising or moon with Mars going back into this position of your chart, you guys will be feeling an urge or the strength or the energy that you need to take on um, the path of making entrepreneurial efforts or something you do on your own that makes you different from everybody else around you very, very strong for this next month. There can also be this symbolization of you getting status or recognized from your career during this month, like bringing back honors, rewards, Mars there will be something you're gonna have to not like fight for in a bad way, but you're gonna have to be like very, very confident. As a Cancer rising or moon, you kind of naturally like to be very more private or just to yourself, but you're not gonna want to hide in this month. It's very supportive of you to be strong, confident in your career, embodying who you want to be, the next steps you're taking, planning it out. Mars being very very smart about the decisions you're making because Mars is going to be making you make some decisions, but this is really good for advancement opportunities, especially with everything happening in your 11th house, which rules friendship, network circles, community, career advancement. So yeah, this and it will with Uranus there, it can happen very fast, especially around the new moon, which I'll talk about in the new moon video, but sudden increased promotions, success, recognition through all of your personal efforts and the work that you're putting in. Then we have things going into your 12th house in the second half of the month, a very healing, possibly isolating time or a time of you doing some long distance travel, escaping in your mind. I would recommend, again, whenever I see 12th house transits, just taking extra care of your mental health during that time because you could be feeling it very chattery up here, especially having Gemini ruling your 12th house. Your mind's going to be running a lot. So just making sure you're taking all of those ideas that are coming to you, keeping note of them, keeping track of them, because they're going to produce a lot of creativity and beneficial for you, especially paying attention to where your own Mercury is in your chart. And just healing time. Even if your mind is going like 10 miles an hour, just making sure you focus on everything that you're getting the downloads, the insights, the ideas, and finding the time to take care of your own energy. If that looks like you spending time alone, don't feel guilty about that. And the full moon happening opposite that in your sixth house, highlighting something you've been changing about your daily routine, your service, your work, something about your health as well could be clearing up during that time. And then Mercury is going to enter your first house near the end of June. Really good for business opportunities for you. Remember all those ideas that I told you you're going to be getting um, throughout June. When it goes into your first house, that's when you're going to be taking action over like putting those out there, making them happen in your life. Really good for business this month too, or connecting with people on an emotional, in-depth way. Then Saturn going retrograde in your 8th house near the end of the month. Also, you're going to be feeling this more so in July because this happens right at the end of June. But this is going to highlight the chapter where you're re-navigating something around your investments, your transformation. Very, very healing time for you guys. This month of June is with 8th and 12th house transits. They could feel heavy, but know that there's always going to be a way out of it. The 8th house transits, especially Saturn there, it produces a very, very strong wisdom and intuition that it brings you through things that you have to overcome. But it going retrograde is highlighting everything that you have overcome and giving you an opportunity to reassess it before it leaves there in March of 2025. This will be the last transit of that Saturn in Aquarius for another 28 years. So making sure you're just paying attention to all that it's teaching you and all the resources and opportunities it's opening up, because especially if you have Saturn retrograde in your own personal chart, this is going to be a very beneficial time for you in terms of like resources and opportunities coming in that kind of make you feel more at peace with how this heaviness has been for you. All right, for the Leo risings and moons, you have Mars in your 9th house. So if there are any Leo risings or moons currently in school, pursuing higher education, pursuing even being a teacher, any teachers here, this is a great month for you guys in terms of planning and prepping and getting resources and the funding and support to teach, to go to school, to learn something new, to do higher education, to help others with their belief system. This is a time really connected to mentoring, coaching, helping others with your philosophy and way of thinking, and getting support from that as well, financial support or just opportunities for new things, new investments to go in, as well as looks like traveling or just thinking bigger with your mind, or going somewhere that broadens the horizon of your mind. Then the Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, Sun, and Venus in the first half of the month in your 10th house, expanding your career, the legacy you're leaving, teaching you things about your career as well, teaching you things about the roles that you're taking on, the type of legacy you want to leave, also the support you're bringing to yourself, your family, and your career, because the Taurus nature of it about financial stability from in your career. And with Uranus there, it can be making these things speed up or just happen very, very fastly. But it is a good financial month for you guys, with happening both in your ninth and 10th house. Ninth house is about good fortune and good luck. I will say with the Mars there, it's going to feel like an exertion of your energy, right? Or something that you'll do in a very entrepreneurial type of way, like just trying to be consistent with it. And then in your 10th house, really putting you in the forefront of being like a teacher, a guide, especially with Jupiter and Uranus there, or getting support from a teacher or a guide older than you, or just guru type of energy, someone coming in to give you advice and spiritual teachings that you can also provide to others. And then in the second house, half of the month, it goes into your 11th house. This is really good for connecting with others, planning things within your community, or having career advance and success based off of the skills you have learned and the way you're able to showcase those with Venus and Mercury, highlighting everything that you have to give to your community. Social media is going to be very good, especially after the second half of the month. And then the full moon happening opposite that in your 5th house, pretty romantic. We're signifying a closure and chapter about the way you produce creativity and highlight that in your life, especially romantically or just in a skill way. Then the second half of the month as well, near the end, you'll feel this more in July, but June 29th, Mercury entering Cancer in your 12th house, a time where you might want to focus on ideas on the back burner, start getting new ideas that come to you intuitively through your dreams, through your spirituality, through regulating of your nervous system, or just through spending time alone. You might become very, very private later on in the end of the month and then well into July. Then June 30th, Saturn stations retrograde in Aquarius, and that is going to be in your 7th house. So, possibility of old relationships coming back around to redo things in a different way, or you guys just kind of focusing on seeing how your business partnerships are having mutual support and just providing for yourself and others, teaching you important lessons about partnerships, about relationships, about community, because Saturn in Aquarius, right? And then retrograde, an opportunity for you to do it differently or produce it differently or just try and make it work in a better way, either with someone from your past or someone you're currently with, but just in a different manner. All right, for the Virgo risings and moons, you have Mars in the first half of the month in your 8th house. Now, this is a good time for you guys in getting resources from others, could be very transformative, or maybe you also having a desire to like explore the bounds of Earth and invest in maybe some underground things to kind of open up your mind. So I would also advise just being careful this month about things you're getting into, because Mars in the 8th house is really, really strong, but it's also can be a very intense transit to go through. Not necessarily like something bad or scary is going to happen to you. I'm not saying that. Just process things in a very mature way, because you might be having this energy to want to do things very, very fast, but the 8th house, they could have lasting effects. So making sure you're thinking before making decisions this month is important. And you will get a lot of resources and opportunities in this month. This is very good for if there's something you invest in or put your energy towards consistently through effort with Mars, you're going to reap a lot of rewards, a lot of financial gains and stability. So keep an eye out for that. Then we have a lot of transits happening in your 9th house in the first half of the month, with Uranus there making things move in a very fast way when it comes to long distance travel, a different approach of the way your mind is processing things and thinking things. Your belief system could be like shifting very rapidly in the first half of this month, feeling like almost a very intense spiritual enlightenment, or there's somewhere that you travel to that kind of broadens the horizons of your mind. For students, this is also a good month for gaining resources and knowledge or opportunities for higher education, or involving yourself in a course or something that brings you more stability and more learning and more support. And then in the second half of the month, we have the Gemini in your 10th house. So it's going to be highlighting your career and your legacy, skills that you're learning and showcasing in a beautiful way that bring you opportunity of like recognition or promotion in your career, or even just support for the ideas you have for your future career. And then With the full moon happening opposite that, it's highlighting for you a closure and a chapter around your home, your emotional security, ways you've possibly been regulating your emotions that bring you more happiness. And then Mercury entering Cancer, these two down here you'll feel later at the end of the month, more so into July because it happens right at the very end. But Mercury being in Cancer in your 11th house, it's going to bring you a lot of business connections and opportunities in your community, an opportunity for you to showcase your skills to your community. I would just say, because of the Cancer nature, don't be hiding. If there's an opportunity for you to hang out with people or experience a new community, try and get yourself out there because it's going to be very beneficial for you as, excuse me, you are ruled by Mercury, so it's going to be very important for you to make those business connections and connect with people that provide you with new opportunities because it's going to be very strong and near the end of the month, more into July. And then Saturn stationing retrograde in your in your 6th house is very important for you as a Virgo individual, as a 6th house native strongly. This is where your health, your routines, your discipline, your daily actions are going to feel like you're reassessing them. If you have a strong Saturn retrograde in your chart, this could be a better opportunity for you to like find more discipline in your daily life and actually like learn everything you need to from this Saturn transit. Also could be reassessing something within your health or changing something within your health that brings you more opportunities, more connections in your community, and an overall more positive standing. And yeah, this is a very good month for you guys. I would just say be focused on the discipline and focused on thinking before any actions you're taking, and they will produce good results. All right, the Libra risings and moons, Mars has entered your 7th house. So you could be planning a long-term serious partnership and goal with someone, like a partner, either romantically or business-wise. This will also be, if you are in a relationship, a very sexually intimate time for you guys, just focusing on that Mars nature in your relationship. Also seeing how you guys are joining your resources physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. It's a good month for you guys. Just pay attention to the things that you're joining in with people you're partnered with. And then with Mercury, Sun, and Jupiter in your 8th house, again, strongly highlighting the resources you have with a partner, the things that you've invested in, the things that you are interested in transforming in your life, and it can happen very, very suddenly. This is also with Uranus just entering there. If you guys are waiting on any type of payout, loan, grant, sponsorship, support financially, with Uranus entering your 8th house, along with Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, and Venus still there in the first half of the month, things can happen very suddenly and rapidly, especially with if you are married, joint resources could increase, partners' income could increase, and also there could be support from in-laws or other people that you're partnered with in business-wise or marriage. Then in the second half of the month, we have Gemini in your 9th house, which is highlighting again your higher education, your belief system, good luck and fortune owed to you karmically in this lifetime. It is highlighted by the skills you produce and the way you think, right? Because the 9th house is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. So you having Gemini there, it's your mindset is really focused on like the way you think of things, the skills that you have that bring you new opportunities of higher thinking, higher education. Even teachers or mentors or gurus could be coming out to teach you just one little thing, and then you get it and you're done and off to the next. Because if it was the Sagittarius nature, it would be like a long journey or like a sabbatical type of nature that you go on to get this. But for you, it actually happens opposite. So you get it very, very quickly and then you're on to the next thing. So don't feel intimidated or bad if your ideas seem like they're very short term in this next month or in the next half of the month of June, because you're going to be getting a lot of good ideas that you focus on for a short period of time and then you move to the next, and a lot of different people could be coming in to teach you more and more and more for just a short period of time, or even a short type of course you invest in that brings you more opportunities and good fortune. And then the full moon opposite that, highlighting everything you're learning from your 3rd house, those skills that bring you so much good luck and so much good fortune and opportunities, ruled by Jupiter in your 8th house. Very good month for money for you guys. And then near the end of the month, June 29th and 30th, the focus shifts to your 10th house, your career and public image. It's also, one second. Those ideas that you get in the beginning half of the month when we have planets in Gemini, when Mercury shifts to Cancer, it's going to be highlighting over like your career. You might be fine-tuning a lot of your public image or the status you uphold, because Cancer wants to make sure it's a little bit protected and private, but also particularly like aesthetically pleasing for you, especially when Venus moves there into July, but that's a whole other thing. And then with Saturn stationing retrograde in Aquarius on June 30th, this is going to be in your 5th house from your ascendant. So it might have been since January of 2023, a lot going on romantically for you guys, creatively with your children, just the creative output you are putting forth. With Saturn retrograding there, it's going to be bringing something back that you have been focusing on and devoting your energy towards for you to redo or reassess or re-strengthen, right? So Saturn has kind of been reconstructing this for you since January of 2023, but going through its final retrograde period here for the next couple of months, it's giving you the opportunity to fine tune that. That can look like your creative output, your devotion to a spiritual practice, what makes you truly happy in your heart, your relationship with your kids, how you're teaching kids or healing your inner child. It's a very good, beneficial time for you, but will require a certain level of devotion on your end. Okay. For the Scorpio risings and moons, this first half of the month is going to look very important for you guys in terms of your daily life, your routines that you have in place. Mars is the ruler of your chart, so you'll always want to pay attention to where it goes. Currently in your 6th house, it's going to be a big focus on exerting your energy in your daily life, prioritizing your schedule, discipline, your physical fitness, or something in your health that you're wanting to take action towards having like a final say in. This is also a good month if you're involved in any type of litigation. There could be news around it that comes out or financial blessing that happens because of Mars being there with resources, gaining from a litigation suit that you're in or overcoming an enemy per se, that brings you support financially and increase of the energy you want to exert in your daily life. Now, in your 7th house, we have Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, and Venus, and the new moon happening there. New beginning around this. We will have a video come out about that. But with all of the energy of Taurus in your 7th house, you guys could very well be entering into a long-term relationship or something manifesting within a long-term relationship happening that gives you more stability, more grounding and closure and understanding. Jupiter there could be teaching you an important lesson, right? But in a very happy way because it's supported by Mercury and Venus there in the first half of the month. Could be you guys just decide to enter into a new long-term relationship where you get more opportunities with partner that you're with, anybody you're business partnered with, or in a relationship with. You guys also might be doing some traveling because Jupiter is going to want to expand both of your minds together. And that can just happen very, very fast. There could also be some type of money involvement that is very supportive for you with people you're partnered with in the beginning of the month. Then after that, we have Venus entering your 8th house and Mercury as well. So this is going to be a very transformative time. Like I mentioned earlier about the Mars in your 6th house, with something to do with litigation. I believe when the Venus enters your 8th house, which is your house as a Scorpio rising, money can be coming in then from whatever happened in the beginning of the month, or just a sense of harmony and balance in receiving things for support from others based off of the way you've been pursuing it with your skills, your willpower, and your strength. So just make sure you're very advocating of yourself and your needs during this time because you will be getting them. You have a lot of support coming in, both with the transit of Mars and in Venus in your 8th house. It's a very financially lucrative support system month for you. Then near the end of the month, we have Mercury entering Cancer in your 9th house, and then Saturn retrograding in your 4th house. Saturn can be like
redoing something in your home environment, with your family, maybe even your own emotional like sense of security. Saturn is reconstructing because it wants to make sure you have a very stable inner foundation in your family life. It could be a very private time for your family, something going on that kind of shifts the trajectory over this retrograde period, but with good results because Saturn will be rewarding to all of the work you've been putting in towards changing your home, changing your family dynamic, trying to have support in your a strong support system in your family. So don't worry about it. The Saturn retrograde period isn't something you should fear. It's just going to be reconstructing something that you finally get to karmically end this chapter over until 28 years later when it comes back around. And with Mercury in your ninth house, you could be making plans towards pursuing something like a higher course or learning something that gives you more financial security and stability as well. Um, Mercury being in your ninth house in Cancer, you might be thinking about pursuing more higher education or enrolling in another program, but it's something you're going to spend a lot of time thinking about because of the Gemini and Cancer influence. I don't think will make any decision in June for sure. That's going to be more so July's transit in Cancer season, your ninth house, but it's going to be on your mind at the end of the month. All right, for the Sagittarius risings and moons, you have Mars in your fifth house this month. Very powerful for you guys, passionately, creatively, romantically, a very intimate time for you guys, feeling very strongly in your romantic relationships for intimacy, for romance, and just an overall time of happiness. Your fifth house is naturally ruled by Mars. So Mars coming back into this position, it's really highlighting happiness for you guys. And just creative inspiration, you taking action towards devoting yourself to your children, creative interests, spiritual hobbies, or a spiritual practice that brings you happiness. It will feel like a really time of pure joy and bliss. And then in your sixth house, you have Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, and Venus, and Uranus there. Now, the sixth house, I do notice it being really connected to litigation, enemies, as well as your health, your daily routines, your structure and discipline, and the service you're giving to others. So I do see this as something where news can come out if you're waiting for financial supplementation from an enemy or litigation. Something in near the beginning of the month might happen very fastly in that sense, or also you just taking on more responsibility or learning a lesson in a very positive way around discipline, around your health, around your daily routines and the service you're giving to others that bring you more stability in your life because Taurus is about that stability and loyalty. Um, and then in your sixth house, it's something that's asking you to overcome a lot of obstacles that could be in your way, but you do overcome them because of the Jupiter influence and Uranus making it happen pretty suddenly and unexpectedly, as long as you're in pursuit of devotion and service to others, because that's that Venus in the sixth house. You could be feeling very perfectionistically in the very first half of the month too. We're wanting to get down in the details about it. Just know that everything's going to play out the way it needs to, so don't be scared of it. That Jupiter and Uranus there support. Then in the second half of the month, we have Venus in your seventh house, which will feel again like a romantic time, with Mars in your fifth and Venus in your seventh. You guys in relationships are going to love this month. It's going to be very romantic and beautiful for you guys. Could be doing some traveling or little short trips with a partner because of the Gemini Venus influence in your seventh house. So take that into consideration that you might want to travel with a partner or just be feeling very romantic and intimate with them overall. Then when the full moon happens in your first house, it can be transforming or giving you this insight to how much you have transformed over the last 6 months when you manifested a new beginning over your sense of self and your life path. The full moon symbolizes the closure of that chapter ending and also highlighting an important lesson or chapter in your relationships, close relationships, business partners, or friendships, or a partner. Then near the end of the month, we have Mercury entering Cancer in your eighth house, and then Saturn retrograding in your third. This you will both feel these more so strongly in July, but the transit does begin in June, so it will really, the Mercury in your eighth house is going to be giving you a focus on your investments, prioritizing, you know, securing your financial setting, securing business deals that bring you financial security. Because your eighth house is Cancer, ruled by the moon, you're very particular about what you invest in and what brings you financial security. So Mercury there will be giving you ideas, giving you business opportunities, giving you skills to generate more financial strength and income. So pay attention to that for the next month. And then with Saturn retrograding in Aquarius in your third house, it's been asking you to exert a lot of your willpower and energy in things that will produce skills for you that you can use to get better business deals and better income. Saturn retrograding there, it's going to give you a refocus on how to do it best to find that stability and that foundation that Saturn wants to give you. I will say that this is going to be the last window of opportunity for another 28 years because that's Saturn's transit and how long it takes. So just pay attention to everything that comes up when it comes to like, if you feel like it's draining your energy in a negative way, Saturn's going to ask you to let go of it, to bring in the things that are fueling your energy in a positive way so that you can increase your skills, right? Because that's what your third house is. That's how you're going to make a lot of your connections and your stability and your financial growth in this lifetime. So just pay attention to what's coming in and out near that period that begins in June, will last until October, I believe. All right, for the Capricorn risings and moons, in this beginning part of the month with Mars in your fourth house, things could be shaking up in your family, your emotional security, just something that Mars is kind of coming in and being like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. This is how we're taking action towards it. This is how we're changing it. We're getting the resources for it. This could be a time where you're taking action towards wanting to find more emotional peace and security, or trying to change the dynamic of things in your family with your mother, an investment or something that you begin with your mother that brings you just more peace overall. Okay. This is going to feel like something where you might have to exert a lot of your energy towards it, but it will produce really, really good results, especially as the month goes on. You're going to notice how much more emotionally at peace you feel within your family dynamic, within your own security, within your private life, even within your home. You could be getting resources to reconstruct something in your home or have the finances to better support you, yourself, and your family. And then all of this happening in your fifth house, right? From your rising sign, it's a very romantic time for you. Romantic, not only in the sense of like relationship type of romantic, but just in your own personal life. It'll happen very suddenly. You'll be feeling an increase in passion towards creativity, towards your relationship with your kids, if you have any, towards the creative output that you are giving to the world. Uranus is going to speed it up and make it very strong. With Jupiter there teaching you something about it, an important lesson. This new moon will start the chapter beginning in this. You could be like putting out more, if you have a business or a personal business or a personal hobby, you're going to be creatively outputting a lot right now and learning how to creatively output. A lot of new ideas coming in, a lot of new partnership opportunities coming in, and it's a really just creatively strong month for you in the beginning half. Then when Venus and Mercury entering your sixth house, this is going to put the focus on your daily life, the routines that you have that give you stability. Because it's in its own sign, Mercury, and Mercury is entering there, you will be getting a lot of ideas through the people that you are partnered with, and there could be like a manifestation of a litigation or some type of enemy per se that you overcome that's going to bring you an influx of ideas and an influx of like willpower, something to take action towards that's going to help your health, help your daily routines, and give you a disciplined structure. Then the full moon happening opposite that in your 12th house, highlighting the way you've been regulating your nervous system, finding mental peace and clarity, kind of like escapism a little bit, and how you've been playing out that dynamic for the last 6 months between your physical body and your mental body, and what's been like creating a balance in your life and what hasn't been working. And then Mercury entering Cancer on the later half of the month, which these two you will be feeling more strongly in July because it happens so late into June. But Mercury being in Cancer for you, that will be your 7th house. So this is time where you might be engaging in a lot of business contracts, contracts with a partner, just really getting in talking, communicating your ideas with partners, having new ideas that you learned from Mercury and Gemini through your daily life that now you're going to be bringing to people you're partnered with, close friends, relationships, marriage partner. It looks like a time of you guys putting your focus and energy towards stability and security with a partner, because that's what Cancer is and that's what Mercury is, a contract of some sorts or communicating of ideas between two people. Or business relationships. And then the Saturn retrograding in your 2nd house, you guys, if you're a moon sign, it's the final phase of your Sadasati. So this is the last retrograde period of your Sadasati, which is going to create, Saturn is going to show you guys how that stability and income is so important for you and what you need to do to generate the strength of it. If finances have been hard for you over the last since January of 2023, or especially in this last year of 2024, then this retrograde period is giving you the opportunity to reassess it and probably even bring you back more financial stability that you've been wanting, as long as you've been putting in hard work too, because Saturn rewards that hard work and it will be coming in. I will just say it will really test like probably your own inner sense of self-worth and value. So making sure you feel strong in what you're worthy of, what your value is, what you bring to the table. Saturn is going to highlight it and make you have to address it one way or another. So rely on those 2nd house affirmations, but the stability is going to continually increase. So just believe it. Saturn is rewarding y'all. Don't if I know for that final phase of your Saraswati, it could have been hard in some way. So just keep persisting because it's coming, okay? All right. For the Aquarius risings and moons, the month of June begins with Mars in your 3rd house. So this is a really, really good time for you guys for increasing your confidence, increasing your willpower and your strength and determination to take action towards learning new skills or going on new, different short little adventures that bring you more connections with people that are going to help you financially and give you the support to have strength in your daily life. Mars does really well in the 3rd house because it's where you exert your energy through the things that you know with your skills, with like things that you've learned in your lifetime. So having Mars there in its own sign, it's giving you a surge and an increase of energy. Like this is like don't give up type month. And it's going to be very beneficial for you because Mars is going to constantly, just when you feel like you don't have enough energy, Mars is going to come and be like, no, we got this, we're doing it. And then you have Saturn in the 1st house in Aquarius, right? So if you're a moon sign, then this is like peak phase of your Saraswati. So this is really important where Saturn at the end of this month is retrograding, right? Over your whole sense of self, your whole life path, everything that you have been changing up until this month. You're gonna feel this at near the end of the month, more so in July, but near the end of this month is when Saturn is really gonna make a focus where you can reassess things about your life path, your appearance, the way you're navigating your connections with people and just navigating all the decisions you make in your life. Saturn's going to bring in the rewards during this season, and they will be very fruitful, especially if you've been taking action towards changing something of yourself, your emotions, and your life since January of 2023, because this will be the final retrograde phase before Saturn leaves Aquarius next year in March of 2025. So be prepared for it. It will feel like a little bit of work because Saraswati brings that, but you guys are going to get an increase of strength during this period. But I skipped over some other stuff. So you have Mars, Mercury, Mercury and Taurus with Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, and Sun in your 4th house, okay? So there can be something around your status changing and your home changing as a direct result of that. Could be a balance between your career and your home. It kind of happens very suddenly in the month of June, where you start a new chapter over what you're learning to provide emotional security for your family and for yourself. And in terms of like your family and your home, there could be something with your real estate or investments you made paying off or paying out during this month too. And then in the 2nd half of the month, when we have planets going into Gemini, it'll be your 5th house. So this is going to be a very creative month for you guys. And notice here how I was talking earlier about the 3rd house being your skills, the energy you're exerting. Gemini naturally rules the 3rd house, and then near the 2nd half of the month, all of that energy you guys have been putting forth towards your skills and changes in that nature, when Gemini enters that, when the Venus in Gemini enters in the 5th house, it's going to give you that creativity along with that passion. So this is going to be a very strong month for you guys in terms of taking actions towards your creative goals. Now, the 5th house does look like a lot sometimes when people have important placements there, starting their own business, starting their own creative project that they produce and are very devoted to, that produces good results. So if you guys have been having ideas around that during this month, that will be very beneficial for you as well, to take action towards getting resources for those things. It will look like you're going to be tested by your skills for this matter, but it's going to pay off for sure. As well as having a full moon looking at it opposite, there could be some type of connection in your community or someone you're partnered with that will help you bring forth this opportunity, but it won't look like you have to be a little bit spiritually devoted to it, like something that's very passion driven. So making sure whenever you assess your decisions this month, if they align with like a full body yes, that's what you want to pursue, because that's your 3rd house, that's your 5th house, and that's your 11th house. Okay. All right. All right, for the Pisces risings and moons this month, you guys have Mars in your 2nd house, okay? Mars in your 2nd house is really making you focused on your income, like figuring out your resources that you share with people that you are trying to generate more of, giving you like some new type of willpower and action towards generating more income and figuring out how to. Mars in the 2nd house, right, is about income and receiving and self-worth and value. Mars there, it wants you to invest in, spend on these things, like learn about, organize. Mars in Aries, taking action towards building it. So this is a heavy exertion energy month for you guys, of like taking disciplined action, and then everything happening in your 3rd house with Taurus, learning skills that produce you more income, especially with Jupiter and Uranus there. It's highlighting all the knowledge you've learned that is able to produce more income for you through the skills you naturally have. But it can feel like it's something you have to work at a lot, because the 3rd house is your willpower, your strength, and your energy that you're exerting. So Jupiter and Uranus there are expanding this for you and showing you the worth and value of your skills, but also asking you to exert your energy in order to receive, not in a bad way, because it's not something that's going to be so draining because of Jupiter there. It's expanding it, making it positive, but it is something that you have to put action towards, Mars. And then in the 2nd half of the month, we have Venus entering Gemini and Mercury in your 4th house. So this can be a highlight of your home, trying to learn something or change something in your home that provides you with more stability, more just emotional peace, and just decorating a little bit more even, or just, changing something up where it makes you feel like your family is getting along better. That Gemini nature could be a very witty month with your friends and relatives or people that you consider close family, communicating with a lot of people, trying to get business decisions with a possible family member. Because of that Mercury in Gemini supported in your 4th house, it's going to be really, really strong for you guys to focus on emotional security and foundational home peace, and also seeing how that reflects in your career, because it looks at the 10th house. So it's asking you to make that work-life balance happen during this next 2nd half of the month. And then we have Mercury entering Cancer in the later part of the month, which you will feel more so strongly in July. This happens right at the end. But Mercury in Cancer in your 5th house is going to be very romantic, very creative, highlighting your spiritual devotion practice and like what fulfills you in terms of joy, in terms of your heart. Mercury there, getting ideas for a possible business, a possible creative project. If you have children, it looks like learning how to communicate on a more emotionally depth level with your children, or if you're a teacher, things like that. And if it's just for like your personal business, giving you that business connection, those ideas with people you're partnered with in business and for a creative project. And then Saturn stationing retrograde in your 12th house. You guys are at the beginning, if you're a Pisces moon, of your Saraswati that started in January of 2023. Saturn going retrograde there in your 12th house. It's highlighting everything you've been working towards and shifting of your nervous system, your limiting beliefs, your regulation system, even losses like financial or friendship wise. Saturn retrograde is going to come back around and show you like this is the final chapter, the final karmic lesson in this area, not in a bad way, because if you've been putting in the work, so Saturn's going to be giving the rewards during this time and highlighting how much you have grown and showing you ways you can continue to grow because that's the beginning of your Saraswati. So it's really invoking a lot of maturity in you, desire to change and change your whole life. And Saturn going retrograde there is really going to manifest this, like, especially if you have Saturn retrograde in your own chart, it's going to give you that ability to notice how to change these things and how to find that regulation in your nervous system because your Aquarius is very innovative. So you are going to learn how to do it in a very innovative way that might not make sense to other people. And it could be also a time of you trying to find more peace being alone or doing some long distance traveling that brings you that regulation of your nervous system. But because this starts at the end of June, it's going to look like that's when you're setting in the plans and motions, and then you'll feel this more strongly in July. But yeah, that would be that for Pisces. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Let me know how these predictions are feeling for you, what you're noticing. I do apologize about my sickness. I hope I was clear and everything, but if you have any questions, please just comment it below and we can talk about the month of June for you guys. I'm really excited to see how this is going to play out for everybody. And this Jupiter and Uranus is coming in strong. It just started. So let us know what you guys have been noticing and what you're manifesting, what dynamics you're wanting to see change, or if you saw anything coming in from May from our last prediction videos, please let us know. I appreciate you guys so much, and I look forward to hearing from you.